Hello and welcome to my review of the Spyderco Slip It set. This is part of my updated 4K review videos that I decided to do about a year ago and just go through all of my knife reviews and gear reviews way back when I started the channel in November 2012. So this is the Slip It set. I don't think you can get this Slip It set anymore. I think it was discontinued in 2013, but when it was about, it was £24 for these three Spyderco value folders. Now, the set includes the Spyderco Bug, the Honeybee and the Grasshopper. Knives have gone up in price considerably over the past 4 or 5 years. One example is this Spyderco Delica. When I first bought this back in 2012, so 5 years ago now, it was £63. It's now £94. It's gone up by £30 in 5 years. I suppose that's not too much, but they've still gone up. I mean, almost £100 for this folding locking knife with a blade length of less than 3 inches. It's still a fair bit of money, almost £100. So I thought I'd make that comparison straight away. In terms of how much this set now costs, well, instead of £24, the Bug itself is £17, the Honeybee is £22, and the Grasshopper is £24.95. So already, from 5 years ago, the Grasshopper is now more than the whole of the set cost me back then. What I will do is I'll go through the specifications as I always do. So we'll start off with the Bug. It's a very, very small knife, very cute. One of the first knives I bought actually, along with my UK PK, the UK pen knife. And it was a good little introduction to Spyderco and the brand and the products that they made. I was very impressed with it, even though these value folders are made in China. But this Bug, it's the smallest Spyderco, I still think. The knife is 2.9 inches in total, with a blade length of just 3.3 centimetres. That's not very much at all. The steel that they used for both the Bug and the Honeybee is 3CR13, which is worse than the Grasshopper, which actually uses the 8CR13 MOV. So 3CR13, it's not that good. I'd definitely go with 8CR, and 8CR is quite a usable but low standard of blade steel. You can get it quite sharp. Believe me, I've cut myself many times on this Bug, probably the one that's drawn blood the most out of all my knives. You can get them sharp, it's just the edge does not last that long. It would rather chip than roll. So that's a good thing if you're practicing your knife sharpening skills on the Spyderco rods or whatever you use. It will give you a lot of practice because you'll need to sharpen these. If you use them every week, you probably need to sharpen them every week or every other week. But you can get a nice sharp edge to them. It's just that the edge won't last that long. But it's still usable. They're still usable blades. All the value folders use the 8CR13 MOV, like the Tenacious, which is quite legendary. I think the Tenacious, in terms of price, cost me about £40, and it's now almost 60. It's crazy. But the Persistence, Resilience, Ambitious, they all use the 8CR13 MOV. The Clip tool, that uses 8CR. So does the Kiwi, and a few other knives. So moving on, after that tangent, you've got the Honeybee. The length of that is 3.6 inches and the blade length is 1.6 inches. So these are all sort of classified as UK friendly. They're all UK legal to carry without a good reason. But as always, just use common sense. There's no reason for you to be flashing this about in public. You'll only alarm people and give people an excuse to call community support officers or real armed policemen to come and question you. The largest one is the Grasshopper. This one is a good 5 inches long and 12.9 centimetres with a blade length of 2.3 inches. It weighs a little bit as well for a small knife. It weighs 1.4 ounces or 40 grams. 100 grams is sort of my go-to weight when I'm looking at knives to carry every day. but this has the better steel out of the three. It's got a lovely point to it, very reminiscent of a Spyderco military, that whole blade shape and point. The Spidey hole, not really a function as much. I mean, you can put a zip tie in it and possibly open it, but the back spring, they're all non-locking, so the back spring is pretty firm anyway, and I'd always sort of choke up as much as possible. I wouldn't overuse this knife and pry things or cut into something that really needs a lot of effort. Keep within the limitations of the tool, is what I say. But it's another useful blade with a lovely tip on it, and as I say, the best blade out of those. Now, going back to the price point, I do think that they are expensive in nowadays prices. I mean, especially the grasshopper, you're talking £25 now for this, and it's got okay blade steel, but if you're going to spend 25, my best advice is to go one up and either get the Spyderco UK PK, which is this one. Again, that's UK legal to carry without good reason. It's non-locking, blade length is under 3 inches, and that has obviously a better handle, and it's very light and has the better steel, CTS BD1, which is like carpenter steel. Or if you can afford it, go one up. I think the Urban cost me about £50 or £60. It's now almost £70, but it has the much better, made in Maniago, Italy, the N690 CO blade steel, which is fantastic blade steel. So if you can, best to spend that extra money and get a better blade steel and a better handle and just an overall better product, really. Whether you go for the Made in America Golden Colorado UK PK or whether you go for the Maniago Italy one, they're both excellent choices. And if I was buying one of the knives, I'd just double up, bite the bullet and spend double the money on one of the top two. However, that's not to say these three knives don't have a place in someone's collection. They are value folders, they're made in China. Yes, they don't have the best blade steel, but they are very sharp and they're great for practicing your sharpening technique and skills. They're great backup blades. So if you had your main blade as like a Delica or an Endura or an Urban, and then you had one of these on you somewhere in your bag, you just forget about it. You've always got a backup blade, whereas if your main knife fails, you can, at a push, use one of these. They're great for the small tasks. They don't weigh that much, really, considering. You can put some small hoops or lanyards in, maybe some zip ties to give you a bit more purchase. When I first bought them, I'd say that they were a great value blade, £24 for the three, but obviously now if you're going to be buying them, you're looking at probably £60 for all three in this set, and I'd be looking at a bigger knife that has a better blade steel if I could only choose one or the other. The other knives that are similar to these is the Slip It tool, the clip tool, which has some scissors on it. They are pretty decent scissors, very sharp. I think you can get one with a little saw on it as well, and it's got a pocket clip, which is useful, and it's got the 8CR13 MOV, made in China again. So there is that one that's out there, and also, as I mentioned before, this very strange shaped Spyderco Kiwi. And again, that has the same blade steel. You can get it in nicer handles now and a bit better blade steel too, but that's got a full back spacer, so that is a pretty heavy one, that one. But lovely blade shape, like a Warncliffe blade style. So there's that one too that's in this kind of value range to go for. And that's the end of my updated review. I still think they're a great set. If Spyderco do them again in a box set, and you don't have them, I wouldn't hesitate, I'd go for them, because the amount things are increasing. In another 5 years, I wouldn't be surprised if these have tripled in price again. Knives, like a lot of things, are going up in value. There's a collector's market out there for them. These are a good starting point if you're thinking about collecting knives, or you want to buy a Spyderco just because it's a Spyderco, or you want to buy a Spyderco product and you want your initial impression of it without sort of spending the £50 or £60 on a UK PK or Urban. Anyway, what do you guys think of the Slip It set? Please put it in the comments below. Do you have one of these? Do you use it as a backup blade? It'd be great to hear your thoughts and opinions. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor Protects.